Now we're going to tackle Angular, and here's the project that we're going to be creating in the next series of videos. So we have a welcome to Angular getting started, and I have this Acme product management page, and the idea behind all of these things that we're looking at, here's the things that we're going to be accomplishing. We've got an array of products that we're showing on our table here. We can click on the hide image button, which will hide the images, or we can click on show image and it will show the images. We can click on the ratings. You'll also notice that the ratings are, the stars are trying to demonstrate what the ratings are. In other words, that's 3.2 stars, and so there's 3 and sort of a star showing, and here is 4.2 stars, so we see 4 and part of a star showing, so we'll accomplish that. If I click on a star, then the rating of that star is going to be showing on this title page here. We can click in our input box, and as we click in our box, that's going to be tied to this text here. So if I type in the word cart, then cart is also being displayed here, as well as our list, our products that are visible are being filtered by whatever we type in. So if I type in AM, which is in 2 different products, for example, it will filter by the products that are matching that input string. And then, of course, all of the products are showing. So this is what we're going to be tackling in the next series of videos. And hey, let's just dig in and get started. I've created some sample starter files, not sample files, but starter files for this project. And so if you want to use those, navigate over to github.com, Markley Classroom, Angular starter files. And what I would do if I were in your shoes is I would not necessarily clone or download. You can't, I mean, you could clone it, but it kind of defeats the purpose because you can't, upload to a GitHub account that's not yours. You could, of course, download it. That makes sense. Or you could fork it. And so if I fork it, what will happen is it will create a copy of this project into your own GitHub account. Asks you, where do you want to do it? And then it'll fork it into your own personal GitHub account, where you can then, I think it's done, there it is, where I can now clone to my own account. And so that way I can continue to push or do whatever you want in your own personal account. So from there, I'm going to clone that into my local directory. So I'm going to do it in my command line, change my path to a desktop, and then I'm going to type in git clone and Control V, and so that should then put a copy of that repository, which should now be under git control, in my local directory. And two things at once is making me hard to speak here. So I've cloned that repo onto my local desktop, my local computer. If I do a dir space wide, I should now see tons of Angular projects, but I should definitely see, I don't even remember, this one is Angular starter files. So change direction to Angular starter files. If I hit tab, then I can tab through all of my Angular things going on. Angular starter files looks right, so then I hit enter. If I do a dir /w for wide, then I can see all of those files. Looks like everything is there. You can see with the .getignore file right here that I did in fact clone it. So this particular project is under Git's watchful eye, and I've linked it successfully to my remote repository. I can verify that by typing in git remote-v just to verify that I have in fact made a successful link between my GitHub account and my local repository. So I feel like I'm in good shape that I've successfully cloned a copy of the Angular starter files onto my personal GitHub account, and now I've made that link. So if I type in code and period, since I'm in this folder, I should be able to open up Visual Code, which went into another machine, another monitor, so I'll bring it over here for you to see. And so now I am in my Angular starter files folder. If I look in my terminal, I am also in my Angular starter files path, so it looks like I'm ready to get started. If I type in npm start, remember that, let me just verify that we've talked about that before, in my package.json folder file, there is some scripts that say if I type in npm and the word start, then these things will automatically happen because that was already set up in my package.json file. So in other words, npm start should start up my Angular. It's an Angular command that's going to open up a local server, and then -o will open it up in my current browser. So if I hit npm start at this point, besides this, I don't want that. I should get an error. Yep, I did. And the reason for that is if I look over at what just got downloaded or cloned, you can see that I'm missing my node modules files, correct? Which was the whole point of gitignore, was that I don't have to push files that are unnecessary up to the GitHub account. And so how do I get those node module folders back so that I have all the dependencies? Well, remember that's what the package.json is for. Package.json is going to let node know I need all of these dependencies in order for this project to work. And so all you have to do at this point then is type in npm install node npm, the package manager, will go look at your package.json and install all of those dependency files. And so I'm going to put this on pause because generally that takes a little bit of time, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. It took a couple minutes. Once that was all done running, I can look over here at my node modules folder. Looks like lots of things got installed, which I would expect. If you also notice that since it is under Git's watchful eye, it is currently being monitored by Git. My node modules folder is grayed out, and the reason for that is because it is being ignored by Git, so that's why it's grayed out, which is a good thing. And now I should be able to type in npm start, as I tried to do a moment ago, and it should then try to run my server. So it's running that command that we saw in the package.json file. It is compiling, so all of that TypeScript JavaScript is being transpiled, converted into JavaScript that the browser can understand, and then we should get the starting page, which should look like this. All right, so at this point we have successfully forked the Angular starter files from my GitHub account. You have been able to clone that repo from your from your GitHub account into your local computer. You were then able to successfully install the dependency files because the node modules didn't come down from the GitHub account intentionally, because those are a lot of dependency files that don't change from project to project, and so we shouldn't waste our resources on GitHub, which is the whole purpose of gitignore. Gitignore says don't upload files that can be installed once the project has been successfully cloned, which is what we did. We then did npm install to recreate or reinstall all of our dependency files for this project. And then by typing in npm start, we were able to open up a local server and see what our starter files look like at this point. So we are ready to begin the next phase.